Call Haloyim, Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, Barakatham, Shalom. This is your fellow servant Tazawar from the GMS Orlando camp, here with another lesson. First, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, to the elder apostles, and bishops of Great Millstone whom rule well, and from whom we learn this truth. Shalom to you, Akim, who are not in GMS, but are pushing likewise doctrine in spirit and in truth with all sincerity. To you few sisters that are listening and learning, as well as you speckled birds who are scattered among the nations, looking like those nations. To the 144,000 elect men and the rest of the hopeful elect, to you I say, Shalom. As of recent, like myself included, brothers been doing videos on the current events that have been taking place in the earth, which is commonplace and is truth, right? Because we are commanded to be watchmen. Okay, so we discern the times and the events that take place in the earth, filter it through the scriptures, and then we warn the people. Salakia. So we filter the world events through the scriptures, and then we warn the people. All right, that's the purpose of being a watchman, if you were called to do this thing. Right, and as we always say, we entered into other men's labors. Okay, and as of recent, we've mentioned the tariffs that are going to hit and come into America in the next, say, 45 days, maybe 60. Okay, but as people begin to feel the tariffs, because one of the things that we've been talking about as what, in addition to the wars spiraling up, right? That warlike spirit, the spirit of war being put on the nations. All right. We've also talked about how this economy and this system has to collapse. Okay. Now, my previous two videos, I spoke on, the UN sending out a warning, and then also the potential conflict with Iran, that America, aka Babylon the Great, all right, the daughter of Babylon, mystery Babylon, the whore, the great whore, right? That Babylon and Iran could be intertwined in. Okay, depending on how things play out. And there is a spirit of languishing going out. Okay, especially for people whose safe haven is not the scriptures and the names of the Heavenly Father. All right, and his Son. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and the name of his Son is Yahushai. All right, Yahushai Hamashiach. So those names are our strong tower. Tongue twist. Okay, so this video is just a reminder to not be shaken. All right, in the times that shall soon befall this place. Okay. So first, let's grab Daniel real quick. Chapter 7. And around the 25th verse. Might start at like 23 or something. Let's see. All right, let's do 21. All right, because we've broken this chapter down quite a bit. All right, so to do a quick overview, we know that horns represent power, right? And the horns that's speaking of here, particularly mountains and hills, are likened unto governments, okay, in the scripture. But this horn that is being spoken of is a system, a power system that is being raised up in the earth. All right. And that is when you go up, all right, and you read up, it starts at the Grecians. That's the Greco-Roman Empire. And as we know, America is an extension of the Greco-Roman Empire. All right. So that's just a preface, right? A preface of the scriptures. You can read up on your own. This is Daniel 7 and 21. Because this is the pertinent information I want to get. And I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints. Well, who are the saints? Right? The saints are the Israelites. Okay? And prevailed against them. Right? Until the Ancient of Days came. And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom, which is not yet, right? So this right here, we have to go through, all right, this horn, this adversary overcoming us. And much of that has taken place already under the Grecians, okay? But as I stated, it started at the Grecians, was perfected in the Romans. All right, the big brother Isaiah always talks about this. All right, the three empires of the Edomites. All right, three main empires. When they are in world power, okay, a dominant force in the earth. So you had the Grecians, the Romans, and now you got Babylon the Great, or Mystery Babylon, which is America. Okay, so we were destroyed during the times of the Grecians and the Romans, right? Cast out of our land. And then on this side, once you go through how America came into power, as you know, Britain popped up, America came out of Britain, right? We went through chattel slavery. Okay. Then you had all of the wars that happened, like the separation from Britain. You had the Spanish-American War, right? The conflict with the French, all of that. Okay. So now that America is a superpower, the horn, okay, on this side, we are still being destroyed as a people because we lost everything here. Language, heritage, culture, all right, our powers, our God, okay, our names, everything. All right, so we have been destroyed, but the scriptures speak of the time of Jacob's trouble. Okay. So you have to keep all of that in mind. You have to filter this verse through all of that that the men of the Lord have broken down and given to us over the, through the elder apostles, all right, and bishops, through this ministry, man, that we have now become a part of. Some of us have entered into their labors, as I mentioned before. Okay. It says, verse 22, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possess the kingdom. We are not yet in that time, right? So we still living through that latter end of verse 21. Okay. And in the top part of verse 22, because judgment got to go out. So the culling, right? Jacob's trouble. That's when a lot of the 2/3 gonna be killed. All right, they're gonna go back to the upper room. All right, but that's also a time where the saints, the men of the Lord, will become martyrs. All right, the men of the Lord and the believers of this doctrine, of this gospel, both men, women, and children, will be persecuted. All right, hunted, made spectacles of, martyrs, okay, and chased, hunted. All right, Esau, Edom gonna try to eradicate us out the earth. So that's all of that. All right, verse 23. And we still have to go through that. All right, so notice. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it into pieces. Which, that's what we've seen America do. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. All right. So actually that fourth kingdom, Salakia, that's the Grecians. All right. When they come into power, that's the inception of Esau Edom's power seat. But this is the point I wanted to get. All right. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Just link back up with the top of 21, the bottom of verse 21 and verse 22. All right, so we have to go through that. All right, so I gave the explanation about what the Grecians did to us, how we went through the Roman persecution, and now we over here in America, right? And they continue to speak great words against the Most High, right? Through their henchmen, their taskmasters, their errand boys. All right, that's your Noval, Yuval Noval, whatever that guy, Haraldi, however you say his name. All right. It says until a time and times and the dividing of time, but the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion to consume and to destroy it unto the end. Right? Unto the end. So the point I want to make is the time we will be given into his hand until the time and times and the dividing of time. Right? But then when you go up from there, remember verse 22. All right. And we will be given into their hands. So like we will be given into their hands until the judgment sit, right? Until the Most High gives us the kingdom. Now, because we have to go through all of that chaos, let's grab Luke 21. I think it's Luke 21. Luke 21. Yeah, Luke 21. right? It says, but when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. All right. And then we see what the things to come are. Then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines and pestilences, right? Famines going into diseases. Pestilence. Salakia. Pestilence going to diseases. Famines going to lack of bread, lack of food. Right? And fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. And we've seen this. All right. Reading on. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons, being brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. And it shall turn to you for a testimony. You see that? Settle it therefore in your hearts, not to meditate before what ye shall answer, right? For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist, right? And that's true, because the Lord has been doing that. But it's going to be sent to another level during the time of persecution, right? Verse 12 is what I wanted, because that's what I was speaking on when I was in going, walking us through Daniel. Okay. So Daniel talked about it. Okay. And Daniel not the only prophet to talk about this. Many prophets that mentioned the persecution we're going to go through. All right. Now, over here, hold up. Because I think, is it Matthew? Matthew say the same thing, I think, in chapter 13. No, I think it's Mark. Mark 13. Yeah, things to come. Yeah, Mark 13. And Yahushua answering them began to say, take heed lest any man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. This is the point, verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. All right. And then we read more of the same. All right. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. There it is. That's what I wanted. These are the beginning of sorrows. All right. So we still got more to go through. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my name's sake, for a testimony against them. Right? Now, let's go. Luke. What is that? Luke Luke chapter 11 and 49. Therefore also said the wisdom of Yahweh power, I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they shall slay and persecute, that the blood of all the prophets which was shed from the foundation of the world may be required of this generation. Right? Now, through all of these things, what do we got to remember, man? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 2. All right? Because all of that is prophecy. So it got to happen. It got to take place. But this 2 Thessalonians 2, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Right? And we know that the scriptures speak of the day of the Lord being a dark day. Right? A great and terrible day. It's going to be a lot of death. Okay? So we gotta keep that, man. All right, let no man deceive you by any means. For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which he's making himself known. He has already made himself known, but he's doubling down on this shit now. All right, so all you Sambo ass motherfuckers out there, all right, talking about some white man's not Esau, you know, you Japheth, da da da. Listen, when you go through the prophecies, and you look at the characteristics, this guy is the son of perdition. Okay. And you got to know, a lot of people be saying that because they took a payout. Let me see. Yeah, that's the point. Verse 2, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that all the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Right? One more thing. In our patience, let's see, I can't think of that. Yeah. Luke 21 and 19. Okay. In your patience possess ye your souls, man. Okay. In our patience, we have to possess our souls. And that means that some of us are going to have to accept being martyrs. All right. Now, Lord willing, whoever's lot that is, you know, the Lord stand firm with you and give you comfort, man, during those times. But we come way too far. It's way too late in the game to be switching up and losing faith and second guessing and all of this, man. You know, this is when we need to be doubling down on the faith. All right, because the Lord has done everything he said he was going to do. So he ain't going to stop now. Somebody got to be saved. Somebody got to get salvation. Right? Somebody got to inherit the kingdom. Somebody got to receive mercy, man. And it's our hope and prayer that we be counted amongst that number. And so in your patience, likewise, your minds should be in the same thought, right? in the same thought. But if not, if the Lord does reveal to you that, you gotta be a martyr, then hey, pray for the strength to go through that with your head up, and knowing that perishing in the service of the Lord is a great honor, man. All right. So this is just food for thought. All right, because a lot of people, mostly people that are not, believers, you can see them starting to get real antsy and bugging out and shit. So we have to be, as believers, we have to be set, rooted. We have to be rooted in this thing, rooted in faith. All right. Not just knowing scriptures and knowing the breakdown, but rooted in faith, man. All right. Because that's the other part. We've seen a lot of people come on the boob tube on the internet and have some piece of knowledge, be eloquent speakers, and all of this, and the Lord, let them fall into destruction. All right. Ultimately, it's because, whether they sold out, they was lacking in faith, either the faith that the Lord is going to do what he said he was going to do. And that's really what it is, regardless of how you slice it. All right. Thinking you smarter than the Lord, that you can skirt by on a technicality, man. And the Lord ain't dealing like that. So you either all the way in or you ain't in. All right. But we need to be steadfast in our faith, man. That's the point I wanted to make. Anyway, I pray this lesson was edifying. Until next time, Shalom. Wa Abad Babal.